Hi, we're group number 7, and today we're going to be comparing the political ideologies and the quality of democracy of several countries. So we are going to start by comparing the political ideologies of each country, and we're going to use the political compass in order to do this. First, a little bit on what the political compass is. It is an underlying theory that political ideology may be better measured along two separate independent axes. The axis that runs left to right is the economic axis and measures one's opinion of how the economy should be run. Left can be characterized as the desire for the economy to be run by a cooperative collective agency, while right is defined as the desire for the economy to be left to the devices of competing individuals and organizations. The up-down axis, or the authoritarian-libertarian axis, measures one's political opinions in a social sense, regarding the amount of personal freedom that one would allow. Libertarianism is the belief that personal freedom should be maximized, while authoritarianism is defined as the belief that authority should be obeyed. Now, with all of these explanations in mind, let's look at our countries. Okay, so starting with the Netherlands, we can see that it's characterized as right-leaning economically and slightly authoritarian on the social scale. This makes a lot of sense for the Netherlands because while it is clear that the country leans more on the side of authoritarianism, it is quite slight, alluding to the idea that while the country is still more socially conservative than not, there is also a tolerance and respect for exercising one's social freedoms. The second country that we're looking at is Libya, which is characterized as left-leaning economically, while from a socio-political point of view there is an ideological power vacuum as a consequence of the revolutionary events of 2011. However, beyond the divisions created by these events, the international community's efforts of unification today are pushing towards the establishment of a government based on a social democratic ideology. Following Libya, we see Nigeria, which is characterized as a right-leaning liberal economy that supports the promotion of individual rights. After Nigeria is Liechtenstein, which is also a right-leaning liberal economy, as well as being liberal on the social scale. Next, we see Norway, which is located at the lower right corner of the political compass as a result of the combination of its social welfare and liberal economic policies. Next, we have Syria, whose political ideology is characterized by the sentiments of the Ba'ath Party, both a socialist and revolutionary organization in the country. And last but not least, we have Sweden, whose politics take place in a framework of a parliamentary representative, democratic constitutional monarchy. So now that we've looked at each country individually, here they all are together on the political compass. Interestingly enough, upon examining this graph, we can see that all of the countries except for Libya are on the right hemisphere, basically meaning that they desire their economies to be left to the devices of competing individuals and organizations. Next, we will be examining the quality of democracy in each of our countries. In order to keep this examination as uniform and cohesive as possible, we will be examining each country through the lens of the Freedom House's Freedom in the World Index. This is essentially an annual study of political rights and liberties worldwide, in which each country is given a score out of 100, signifying how free that country is. Let's begin with Norway and Sweden, both parliamentary monarchies that were each given the score of 100 by Freedom House's Freedom in the World Index and rated free. Not far behind is the Netherlands, another parliamentary monarchy, also free, with a score of 98. The next country is Liechtenstein, a constitutional monarchy with a score of 90, also considered free. Next, let's look at the presidential system of Nigeria, which was scored 45 out of 100 and given the status of partially free. Next is Libya, whose government is in democratic transition, which scored 9, the status not free. Lastly, we have Syria, with a unitary semi-presidential republic, score 1, status not free. In order to continue with our comparison of the quality of democracy of each of these countries, we have compiled all of them into a single electoral democracy index. As you can see, the governments of the Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden have a remarkably higher quality of democracy than those of Libya, Nigeria, and Syria. Unfortunately, VDEM did not offer any data on Liechtenstein, however we can assume that it would be near where the Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden are on the graph. Based on our comparison of these 7 countries, it has become quite clear that each country is very different in the way that it conducts itself. Based on our comparison of political ideologies, it seems that, at least in economic terms, many of the most successful countries we examined were situated on the right hemisphere of the political compass. However, it remains unclear whether a more authoritarian or libertarian government was most successful. In terms of the quality of democracy, we see that the countries that were most free were all parliamentary monarchies. Now, of course, this does not mean that in every case a parliamentary monarchy is going to yield the highest quality of democracy. However, it is an interesting metric to take note of. And with that, we will conclude our presentation. Please let us know if you have any questions, and thank you for listening.